I think you will have waves of discovery.
Nice.
That's such an undone answer.
I second that answer. I think you're gonna
Waves and layers.
Version
Like,
one,
layer, just like a
first
onion.
wave.
An onion just peels away.
And there'll be tears and laughter.
right off the bat. There's tears. I think we can say that, right? Yeah.
Awesome. I don't know about you guys, but it was awesome.
We started shooting this right at the beginning. Should I hold that for a second?
Oh, yeah.
We started shooting this right at the beginning of the pandemic, like the first round of the pandemic, really. So I feel like this was our pandemic experience, at least for me. This was the beginning of, what was it, June we went back, like right away, like before anyone really knew what it was and how long it was going to go. And it felt very safe and it felt very cozy.
Right.
And it felt very,
Shout out to Ron.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ron. Thank
Our
you, Ron.
COVID guy.
Yeah, COVID cop.
Technically COVID officer.
But it
is
felt
the
also
title.
like we were creating something really special in this like time warp, like a bubble or something,
Right.
because the entire world was kind of on hold, and we still got to create, and we still got to like do this thing together. There was only ever 8 of us allowed on the stages at a time,
Safest place to be.
and Hisko and Kate were never on stage with us. Like they were never there.
For us, it was
on
the
Zoom.
most lonely experience.
Yeah.
This is the
Most
closest
remotely-
we've been to
I
him
was
in 2 years.
Yeah, I was 9,000 miles from LA in Amsterdam, directing it behind my monitors per Zoom, and Kate was sitting behind her monitors, and so was the script supervisor. We weren't together. No,
I
so
love
it
to
was,
go over to the computer and mute them. And they were all like, it's 2 a.m. here.
But I really think it gave us a sense of family, like even more so in the second season, because we were together in
Right.
such a strange time.
Well, in that way, it was a lot like season 1. We were still in a box,
Right.
all together with
Right.
tape everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was just less of our family was there.
Yeah.
And more face shields and more distance between
But if
each
any
other.
show could work in a strange pandemic situation, this show could.
It was
like I felt
ideal.
like we were like, oh yeah, we could do this.
Well,
Right.
before
We've done
that,
weird stuff.
Before we even got to the shooting, we did tests in a parking garage with a bicycle helmet, and we were going to do sort of like more
Motion
of a
capture, yeah.
performance capture helmet, and so they were like, "You know how to do that?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go." But we didn't have $200 million, so we did it in a very. It was like a science experiment. It was so fun, and that was before we even got to go and do
yes,
it.
I remember it, and we tried to make your face in 3D animation, and it became very creepy. I can tell you that.
It was really creepy.
No, actually, I was looking for like a neutral expression on your face through season 1.
Doesn't exist.
No, I couldn't find
Does
it. There
not
was no
exist.
neutral expression of your face.
Not on Rosa.
This is my resting face. Hypervigilance.
Does that answer your question? Yeah, sure. Okay, there you go.
I mean, I think why I loved growing up here is the kind of cultural exchange between the U.S. and Mexico. Like, it really feels fluid in this part of the country, and the influences of Mexican culture here, music, art, food, I think are really powerful, and I wanted to express them through the show and through this family, which, it comes from different lineages and different backgrounds, and it feels like the kind of perfect environment to explore that.
Well, I'm crazy. I have a. I'm horny for philosophy. I'm horny for the human condition. I'm horny for Kate. And
Hisko's just going to be quiet on that one.
I'm also horny for you, Hisko. I'm horny for everybody.
What about me? Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm not. I get
that.
You don't do it for me.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
But I know you're too
buttoned up.
put together. You guys are also crazy.
But it demonstrates why she goes that way, right? just this minute we had right here.
I don't like to think linearly about anything, and I don't like to. I don't want to do two-dimensional characters. I love a dynamic story. I love a dynamic person, a dynamic experience, and being also a Latin woman in this business, just sort of trying to break free of any kind of mold and just tell a very human story. And so I tend to, and I love to throw myself into roles, and like the more the merrier. So if I get a script where it's like, you're gonna have fun for 2 months in Tuscany, sipping wine, falling in love, I'm like, snooze. If I get
okay,
like,
sign us
like
up.
this, where it's like you're gonna be in a box with tape everywhere. It's gonna be very Dogville. You're gonna be sort of in this amorphous shape and like throwing a baby like a football that turns into a bird, you know, that makes me happy. Or like Brand New Cherry Flavor, it's like, you know, she's not just a sympathetic character. I mean, it's complicated, and I'm complicated, so I just want to be as authentic as possible about that.
A lot. I can't, again, give too much away, but there's an understanding of generational issues, trauma, things that you try to ignore and you think you're not putting onto your children, but actually you are. And the great thing, the way Kate writes it, is that you actually get to go back and explore in a non-linear way exactly what shapes a human. And you may not understand in present time why somebody's behaving the way that they are, but if you go back, it's like, oh my God, it really humanizes generational families of like, oh my God, of course they're jacked up like this because this and this and this happened. It's like a recipe for a cake. If you put in, you know, dirt and sand and some water, it's not so tasty. But if you put in, you know, love and appreciation and understanding, it's a glorious cake. So we get to see Camilla's cake. I guess that's the way I'm going to describe it.
Ooh, we get to see Camilla cake. That's exactly how it sounds. We do see Camilla's cake.
And
I didn't hear it like that.
And there's a
In rotoscope, which is, I think, the first time that's happened. Am I right?
That just sounds like the name of an episode.
Her cake is groundbreaking.
But it's a secret so far. Right. It's just a yummy, delicious
I would
cake.
say that it's a lot, this season is a lot about very difficult decisions that you're faced with in your life, and you never know if you're doing the right thing. And
like what your life looks like with those versions.
Yeah,
those,
and what the ramifications of those decisions are. And tough decisions that you feel like you have to make at the time, that I always like to say that you never know, you know, what worse decisions your bad decisions have saved you from. And on both sides of our family, we go deep into all of the decisions that were made to get us here. And you know, really tough cultural decisions on both sides. There's no wonder why we're so powerful and fucked up.
It's the butterfly effect of dysfunction.
Starring Ashton Kutcher. He's in this.
Yeah. Did you know that?
That's my secret.
He's like scrolling. He's like, I didn't know that.
It's my love child, right, Hisko?
He's in
Hisko.
And talk about your love child. So.
We can't talk about that.
Oh my God.
You'll have to wait and see. I will tell you that there's a lot more of Becca in this season.
Oh yeah.
And
much to my chagrin, I tried to get her written off.
I forget. We realized quickly that Becca also has, I would say, abilities and powers. So that's a beautiful arc that I get to explore. And this, for me, was a very emotional, challenging season. And I loved it so much. And I think also just like coming out of where, you know, just the state of the world, it really fed into that. But yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff for Becca in this season.
Well, I think it's the best way because, you know, in season 1, the narrator, which was Elma, was kind of unreliable. We didn't know if we were experiencing her dreams and her psychosis, or if it was all real what we were seeing. So, and because it's all animated, it all feels the same. So you never know if it's real what we're seeing or if it's her imagination. And in season 2, I think the imagery became even, you know, more spectacular and more trippy, and it looks much better than season 1, actually. Yeah. So you're constantly feeling like you're in some kind of dream state. That's how I experience it.
We don't experience anything in the show linearly, mm-hmm. So this affords us the, you know, freedom and the flexibility to travel through time and space and back again. I mean, until we can do that, you know, live action, I think probably rotoscope is the best way to achieve time travel.
Yeah, I mean, Wizard of Oz keeps coming up as a touchstone for the series. Kurt Vonnegut, I'm a huge fan of Kurt Vonnegut and his work. I also meditation and different ancient texts. I would say like the Gita and the Dhammapada and the Upanishads, in terms of thinking about reality and how it works and how we experience it, are areas that I draw from as well.
Little bit.
It really feels like we're in a petri dish over there. Like we are the experiment, doesn't it seem? Like sometimes we're creating this genre kind of as we go.
Right.
Because I believe that no show has ever been shot like this. So I can't even explain it when I'm trying to explain what we do.
It is a lot of experimentation. I mean, within the parameters of like your very scientific approach of like, grids and measurements and distances, and because we're doing everything with tape on the floor, it has to be sort of
very specific.
Yeah, especially with
specific.
season 2, because of Corona, we had to prepare it even much better. So we actually made like 3D previs of every shot.
So we could see what they wanted it to be
exactly.
before we
and so
shot it.
And so I
there was
could
no one there to tell
communicate
us.
with the DOP so they know what the camera angles were, etc. But it was, you have to prepare it super, super well in order to be able to film this. And so that I think you always feel comfortable on the set.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel comfortable, and I think our playing is just that. It's like how we always do it, only instead of like, oh, what if I stand here or I stand here? It's like, what if I climb over this piano and then jump onto this mat this way?
And there is no piano.
And there's
so
no
that's the
piano.
thing. There's
So
nothing. There's just a green screen.
Yeah,
So
like-
I'm always completely in awe about you, how you can just
so
imagine that whole
That part's
environment
hard.
is there and there's nothing there. I mean,
I'm
we know
also
it's
in
going
awe
to
of
be
me.
No, but I mean, back to what you were saying is it's like the only way we're literally jumping into a painting.
Yeah.
I remember there was a scene where they're like, okay, you're gonna go by this tape and then turn at the red and then go here and you're in this great bazaar and there's this, and I'm like, okay, just show me a picture of what it looks like. And because the picture was so beautiful and in depth and I saw exactly what it was supposed to be, it was like I would put myself and how I would feel, what it would smell like, what it would be like to be inside this gorgeous picture. And that very much informed how I would play the scene, where I knew I reference could look off to if something was going on and a direction somebody might be coming from. It was like jumping into a painting. It was a magnificent experience.
And do you need more of your imagination if you're acting? Like if somebody tells you like there's a car approaching from
Right,
there's
right.
no car, do
Well,
you
like
need that more?
Yeah, for
the
sure.
season 1, the cathedral,
Yeah.
was literally an apple box. They were like, you're going into this beautiful cathedral, and I have these little pine boxes stacked up on the stairs, and they go, you're touching a rail, and I'm like, well, there's no rail. So they built, like with these T-stands, a rail, and it looks like I'm going to this elegant church. And it's really these rickety boxes and this handrail. So
It's all imagination.
Yeah,
So much
there's a lot of
imagination.
pretending, which is what's so fun about it.
Which as an actor is actually a dream. It actually affords us a huge opportunity to explore and kind of make it our own, and we don't get that usually on like a normal set. So it's actually like a playground.
Well, also Hisko's
really so fun.
storyboards are so involved. I mean, they're so specific, and then for the second season, they had to be even more involved.
That's the thing with our whole team. Is like we had 1.5 year to, like our painters, for instance, they had 1.5 year to train. So during season 1. So when we started with season 2, like season 1 was like building a car while driving it. Like, oh shit, there's no steering
Literally.
wheel. Like
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
finding
Literally,
things
yeah.
out.
We
It
had
was
a
very
seat.
experimental, as you already said. And then at the end of season 1, we started season 2, and I thought like, well, I'm going to drive this Maserati and put it on cruise control. And then Corona came, and then we had to find it all out again, and figure it out.
sell your
again.
Maserati.
I sold my Maserati. Yeah. No, but the painters were like, when we started, the painters and everybody drawing here in Minot Mountain, by the way, in Austin, the studio who rotoscoped it are located here. It's Minot Mountain, and they already trained for 1.5 years, and they. Like their techniques also improved, our techniques improved at our side, so the painting, compositing, the 3D animation. So actually, I personally think that season 2 is much better than the first season.
Yeah,
It's
everyone
very
was working
consistent.
at such a high level.
Right, because
Yeah,
we like
it's
knew
on
what to
super high
expect,
level.
kind of,
Yeah.
right? Like we'd already kind
and
of
we know
done
how
it.
to be silly with this show now. I mean, it's more like, and we knew that first. I mean, when you're in a car crash with just one seat, and you're like, whoa. It's like, you do shed a lot of your ego. And
out the door.
second season, you're like, okay, I'll fly through this door. And
But we had like some guest stars that would come in season 2. I remember that were literally like,
what are
the
you
fuck
doing?
are you doing? Like, what is this?
I remember that.
From-
Yes,
and
so
like
were
Carla
we.
was like,
Or
you
Anna
do this?
Ortiz came in and she was like, girl, you're doing this for months? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what? This is normal. Like, we're used to it. But like, if you had guest stars come in, they were truly like, I don't understand what you're actually doing. It's very hard to
I think
understand.
they even didn't really trust us.
No,
I
don't
They
think.
felt insulted. Like,
This is a show?
Renee Victor, when she was standing by the door, she was like, where am I? I know I'm in front of a door. Renee Victor, she plays their grandmother and my mother.
Abuelita.
Abuelita, yeah. And she just was fascinated
Yeah.
that this one plywood door would be every single door.
It's the same door from season 1, by the way.
we just have
Amazon,
one
you all
door.
gotta spring for a new door.
Season 3, we want a new door.
We're like putting thank you. We're like putting the door handle back on the door as we're doing it. I was like, I'll just hold it in as I like body checked the door and it fell apart all the time.
No, it's true. And then someone has to like hold it from the other side because it no longer closes. And then, you usually see like a hand move away from it.
Because no one could be, you did lose control. Because no one could be on set with us, we had our amazing AD Patrick Metcalf, who
Oh my God.
did everything. He's got one AirPod for them, and in the other ear, he's listening to us and like running the camera crew. And so at any given moment, there's someone yelling in his ear, and he did everything. I mean, he acted with us, he did props, he directed us,
I mean, there was just a
Saved our
crew of
lives.
5 people. It was insane. They had to work for every one of them, like DOP, Nick Ferrero, and everyone had to work for 3 persons. And luckily, Patrick has 5 brains, I think, working simultaneously, so he could do it.
He's still resting from the shoot.
Yeah, that's why he's not here, actually.
Incredible. Yeah, the camera guys were
And we
incredible.
don't shoot like a normal show doing like 2-3 pages. We do like 10, 15 pages like a day. We do a lot of pages
And we do like
a day.
many takes of each scene because of the different, well, that's your expertise, the different angles or whatever, the way that the grids work. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but like, it's not like you just
Say grids.
Yeah, it's not like your coverage and then my coverage. It's not like that. It's like you're all in all the time. Like it's just all the time. We're still tired. Can you tell?
Everyone was at home
years ago.
baking bread, drinking wine.
That's right.
Watching Tiger King.
Not us. Not us.
I think the experience for us was a bit more, as I said in the beginning, a bit more lonely in remote. I mean, I don't want to, you don't have to feel sorry for me, but I was sitting in Amsterdam
I
between
do.
4 p.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning. And we couldn't even make jokes, because if we would make a joke, people on the set would be like, yeah, please keep the line clear, It was insane. It was Patrick, actually, yeah. One of his 5 brains.
In
Yeah.
season 2 was the
fun.
family and the fun. Yeah.
Well, you had fun
Camaraderie.
together.
We had a great time.
No, I only did
great
one
time.
scene with them.
I know.
Once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were. I was like, hi, bye. Yeah.
We were together the
We
whole
were
time.
in my
together
COVID bubble.
nonstop.
Bye.
We were like potted up. We were
were on a
basically
journey
we were
together,
we were like a pandemic pod.
Season 2, we do go on our sister journey.
I got Bob.
Go on our sister journey.
Bob
Yeah.
was in my pod.
Shout out to Bob.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk.